Hello and welcome to episode 5. This week, we will be talking all things Marvel. We've got the complete rundown. Marvel recently released a brand new trailer that is half celebrating the old and half celebrating the new. So I think we got some new info and our real first solid look at the Eternals. So we'll be going date by date through all the Marvel properties that are coming up because Marvel is just slaying it with huge amounts of content. And then, of course, after that, we will talk the season finale of Invincible, which was one of the most insane things I think I've ever seen in my life. Arthur, do you agree with me?
Yes.
That's
yes.
Right. Yes. So join us as we talk all the marvelous content and Invincible visuals here at Tales to Admonish.
Tales to Admonish.
I'm going to keep doing it normal so you keep going over the top. I like it.
Bro, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I got my second COVID shot this week. I felt like absolute shit the day after, but now this is 2 days after the shot. I'm feeling really good. And I'm like Captain America over here. I got fucking superpowers now. I could walk around amongst all the plague rats.
Lord. Yeah. I sadly I haven't gotten my vaccinations yet. Like I've been so busy, and everyone around me who gets them gets messed up for like a day. I just don't have a day to get messed up. I don't have the luxury for that right now.
That's true. You're a voice actor.
Oh yeah, and I teach kids and everything too. So online, but yeah. I got to make it happen. I'm glad you got your vaccinations.
Yeah, man, make it happen. Go get it done. I know it's gonna suck. Just do low voices. Just do black characters. They always want you to go deep for those.
Oh yeah, I really have a choice for that. the voiceover industry is just booming with black voices all over the place.
That's
oh
fair.
My God, that's a whole other podcast talking about like what black people had to deal with in the voiceover industry, in any industry.
hey, you be happy, okay? You're getting a Superman movie. J.J. Abrams' Black Superman.
No.
Well, and I bet you feel that way because they just recently announced that it will absolutely be outside of continuity. It will not be connected to the combined DCEU cinematic universe, much like the new Batman film.
What else is new? What else is new, Tom? It's just the best thing for them. They have no way of sitting down and trying to figure out a connected story. So, this is what, these type of things were like 20 years ago or 25 years ago. Just like total independent stories that like you can just put nice and neat and just have it be in the same world. But we've moved past that. Like we've moved past that type of storytelling. What's interesting is when these heroes interact with other heroes, or else you just have like a bland ass. Is either you have a cold opening, which is probably the best way to go. So like the character's already established as a hero, which is going to be weird if you're introducing a new black Superman. It's going to be freaking weird. Or you do the boring ass origin story like they did for 10 straight years, like in the aughts.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I knew you'd hate it. I had to bring it up.
I mean, look, I think JJ is a pretty incredible storyteller. I mean, he has his weaknesses, and he's actually conscious enough to, admit it. He admits that he sucks at endings. And that's actually he admits it himself. That's really good that he could do that. Because there's some directors out there that just think everything they do is fantastic. Shy Mulan, yeah. So I mean, I don't know.
I know.
It's like sometimes you're happy that more black content, but then it's just like, okay, what is the extent of this black content?
Right, but you're only getting it as like an individualized bite. They're not trying to make it part of the bigger picture. It's like, it feels like black content, but it's like minor league black content.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, again, really straight up, what is the extent of this content? Because, like there's stuff that's performative, and then there's stuff that's just like organic. And you, of course, want it to be organic and not have this other thing behind it. Like JJ already burned me with Finn. It's going to be really hard. it's gonna be really hard to like
That's a
go with them
100%
on
fair
with
criticism.
black, with black stuff. Like maybe you should stay away from black stuff, JJ. You know, I mean, at least he did good on the HBO show Lovecraft Country.
Mm-hmm,
You know,
mm-hmm.
but he largely just let um the lady on there, the showrunner.
Right.
I'm so sorry I'm blanking on her name, but
Mm-hmm.
he largely let her like run that show, and it was great for it. You know, what was sad is that you know, they kept trying to give Jordan Peele all the credit for that when he just again was like just a producer.
Yeah,
on
he was
it.
an associate producer or something.
Yeah. Well, let's
No
get
doubt.
on to the other tidbits.
Oh, well, the other one, of course, is debuting not a movie, not a TV show, not a cartoon, but a physical object,
Oh, what's this?
the new lightsaber.
Oh yeah, I saw this, man. Like, it's so crazy how big this sort of thing is, that because it got its own trailer.
A toy got a trailer.
It got its own trailer because people have been waiting. It's like this is almost akin to like, you know, the hover skateboard.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
or the self-tying shoelaces.
Oh, the
It's like,
Reeboks.
yeah, we have this now. I mean, I think it's a little suspect though. I mean, because it looks pretty CGI on that trailer.
No. I was reading up on how it worked, and it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect freaking sense.
Okay.
So basically, it's like a tape measure. So, you know, when a tape measure rolls up, it flattens out, but when it comes out of the end of the tape measure, it's a little bit curved. So what ILM came up with is basically on either side of the hilt is like dual tape measures, and they're clear plastic. And at the end of it is a coiled LED. So as the lightsaber extends up, the sides of it come out flat, but then they curl together. So what I imagine is that there's a seam where the two plastics overlap that you might see a little bit of differentiation. And I think that'd probably be on the sides. They certainly wouldn't show it in like the premiere, this is our new toy video. But I can't say for sure that there would be, but that's how the mechanics work. And to me, that makes perfect goddamn sense. It's brilliant and it's mechanical and simple. I think it's the real deal.
And it breaks easy.
Yeah, it's gonna break easy.
I mean, the actor in that trailer is holding that thing so like gingerly.
Oh well, that's like a $10,000 prototype, man. That's worth more than her whole life.
Exactly. I mean, what do you think a kid's gonna do with that $10,000?
Well, they're not going to be available to the public just yet. Right now, they are going to be exclusively for the Jedis that are on the Jedi cruises that they have, like the experience cruises. And then they're going to be issued to the actors in the parks that play those characters as well. But so for right now, there's absolutely no plan to make this commercially available. Although the moment that they can make it robust enough that it doesn't break, because right now you're exactly right, it's fragile as fuck. But the moment they can make those robust enough, they're going to sell, I don't know, 1 billion of them. So I give it a couple of years, but you're going to see that in living rooms, you know, for Christmas, like 2030.
It breaks that morning.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's going to be a lot of tears on Christmas.
I know, man.
But it's cool as hell, though, just to see them like actually make this thing, because this is what people have been waiting for who love this stuff. And good for them for actually making it happen.
Speaking of tears, I know Brie Larson might be crying because they took off Captain Marvel off of the title of the Marvels.
I don't think that matters to Brie Larson. I don't know. Hey, you want to hear a funny story? I met Brie Larson once.
Okay.
I had no idea who she was. We both did an episode of Access Hollywood where she was interviewing and I was doing a pumpkin carving segment, and just literally met her for about 30 seconds, shook hands, and then just kept walking. But she seemed perfectly nice. And I had no freaking clue at all who she was, because that was like 2015.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, I don't think she's got problems. You think she's got problems?
I really feel like it was like a very calculated move for Marvel, because she had all of that the drama that happened when she just was speaking her mind politically about stuff, you know, and it made a lot of like angry fanboys. You say, "Oh, me no likey," You know,
Well, there was that whole campaign against her on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's not her fault.
I mean, but they tied it directly to her. I'm talking about the fan base here.
Yeah.
You know, so like I think Marvel, they're very savvy. You know, like I think they found a way like that to make it make sense for story, and also to assuage kind of people from continuing the hate train on Brie. Because by calling it the Marvels, you're talking about multiple characters, not Captain Marvel. You know, like saying Captain Marvel too, because it's not like the first one was that great. You know,
it wasn't. I wanted to like it more. Nick Fury was awesome in that movie. I thought.
He was
fun.
I mean, the movie. What could I say about the movie? Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of problems with that film. You know, I don't want to go into it.
No, it's true. That's for another time.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Because with them focusing on the Marvels, of course they're going to be talking about Monica Rambeau and wait, was that her mom?
No. It's her mother's Maria Rambeau.
Yeah, there we go. So you got Monica, and you also have Miss Marvel,
Kamala Khan.
Kamala Khan, and so me and off air, Tom was trying to figure out something that I was pretty sure about. Did you look it up yet?
I did look it up, and Monica Rambeau was the first Captain Marvel after Marvel proper, and was definitely predated Miss Marvel using the name Captain Marvel. Carol Danvers, which did come much
I gotta
later.
figure out something. I got to figure out something special for you to do.
Because I could have sworn that Carol Danvers had used it before Monica Rambeau, because Rambeau was Photon and Spectrum and all these other names. I just got it wrong.
No.
You're right and I'm wrong.
That's what made me kind of mad about the movie, like how they rolled out, because they try to be very kind of specific about things in these movies, but they rolled out this white Captain Marvel when it was very clear that the first Captain Marvel was black. If you're talking about the female Captain Marvel,
right?
And then they have such a messed up legacy for black characters in comic books, you know, and that could be a whole episode of itself as well. Mm-hmm. But she was Captain Marvel first, and then they kind of flipped her aliases around for years and years and years.
Yeah. She was Photon and then Spectrum, etc.
So I mean, I think Marvel's pretty savvy for making this title change, but I think it's pretty whack to go from Captain Marvel. When do you ever do that? Captain Marvel to the Marvels, Well,
I see. All right. So I don't think, number one, that change stops the hate at all. I think actually it's only going to amplify the hate, because it seemed like a lot of the shit that Brie Larson was taking was from a very, vocal minority. That there were some people who maybe have some misogynistic views and felt like having a female-led superhero movie somehow bothered them. And I think that the exact kind of person to be bothered by a movie with a female lead is going to be triple bothered by adding a black and Middle Eastern female co-leads as well.
I don't know.
I think
with that.
Shitty people are going to be shitty. Let's call it now. Let's predict it now. I think that there's going to be a ton of completely unwarranted online hate fighting against the quote unquote social justice message. They're going to claim that the movie is preachy and stupid and we don't want to see these characters. There's always that group that comes out and talks that kind of shit.
I don't know.
Always. And I think Brie Larson bared the brunt of a lot of that.
I don't think so, because I think when Brie was Brie, you have Brie as the lead in something, and then Brie as a side character in something. So when Brie was a side character, they used her in a lot of cool ways in Infinity War. There wasn't that much of a dust up about that. Most of the dust up happened during the release of her initial movie, and so I think a lot of that stuff is going to be assuaged by the fact that Marvel's moving full steam on these plots. You're not going to have time think about like this the social justice stuff. Like they already set up like a plot beads for Monica and Carol's eventual meetup in WandaVision. You know, so like I think they're going to be so concerned with plot. You know, like, and that's what Marvel wants you to be focused on. They don't want you to be focused on like outside bullcrap. You know, I don't know. I think them calling it Marvels, you don't. It makes you not directly think about Captain Marvel. It actually is pretty interesting because you know people weren't expecting that title. So what's that? What's that about? You know. So I think they're pretty savvy for that.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm not sure. I can't really wrap my head around what I think Marvel thinks about Brie Larson's behavior on the press tour for, you know, the final Avengers bit. But because...
Oh, they always have words. Like they have words for all of them.
No.
You know?
But my thought is that she's making good trouble. You know, the rundown for anybody who maybe, because that was a while ago, isn't familiar, is that she publicly came out and complained about the fact that what she felt was a disproportionate number of reporters that she was being given time to were white and male, and that she would not continue to do press junkets unless they equalized the representation in the press room, which can sometimes be difficult from a managerial perspective, because this shit's already all been set up months in advance. And now this person is just like, you know what? I'm not doing another one until you completely change who's going to be in the room. So there's a lot of organizational nonsense from the production company's standpoint that goes into that change. So I could see them having animosity about that, but it's also very on brand with their message. So I could see them feeling either way about it. I, for one, am totally into it. I think that if that's the way that she wants to use her celebrity and her ability to do interviews or not do interviews, I think that's the best kind of trouble. And Don Cheadle had her back 100% when he was asked about it. And he said that she was fantastic, and he was really glad that she said that.
I don't know, man. There's still like a lot of backstage drama between Brie and a lot of those actors. They've had a bunch of video analysis about it, like body language and stuff.
I saw that, and I think that the lady who wrote that article is full of shit. I just respectfully, because, and again, you know what? I'm going to reference the same article I read where Don Cheadle said, like, whoever it was that made that assessment didn't see what was going on behind the scenes. So when you say, oh, well, she's sitting this way so as to, you know, impose her height on the actor next to her, and Don goes, no, the hairstylist kept futzing with her ponytail, so she was sitting that way to try and hold it out of shot. And so, like, we don't know what was going on behind the scenes that would make a person behave one way or another, like on an on-camera interview. And I've done a lot of on-camera interviews in my life, and it's 100%. You have no idea, like, what's going on. The interview is like the tiniest part of your day. And so I don't give that assessment any credence at all. I just don't.
I don't know. He seemed pretty annoyed with her when she kept touching him. He's like, I told you not to touch that.
That could be the dynamic of their humor. I don't know. I can only go on what the guy said, and he came out and made several statements contrary to those assessments.
Yeah, I mean, Marvel makes these people do so much crowd control.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to some degree, I feel like some of it is like fabricated, but then there's moments where it just seems really real. Like the whole thing about, Tom Holland can't keep a secret. Like I really feel like that's just that's a whole put on, you know. Like so, like I mean, it keeps people interested and
makes them quirky and
funny sort of press. Yeah, you know, he can't keep a secret.
Well, they did the whole when they actually released, you know, that the final one was going to be called No Way Home. They did that whole bit where they gave them fake names because no one can keep a secret now. It's fun. Yeah. It is a little put on, but they're an entertainment company. If you don't think absolutely everything is put on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like some stuff is real and some stuff is just like, you know, kind of cleverly hidden.
Bet Tom Hiddleston isn't that charming in real life.
He seems like it.
He isn't nearly as charming as he appears on the television.
Let's talk about Eternals because I had no idea how the Eternals were going to play, because it's such a weird thing for Marvel to do, because you have this thing that's just full of like like yesteryear's A-list actors, in this thing. Yeah, like Angelina Jolie. Angelina Jolie just looks weird. She looks weird being in the Marvel movie. Because it's like there's no precedence set for any of this storyline. So I was just really worried about what the Eternals was going to be. But I have to say I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. What do you think?
Well, I think what did we get, like 15 seconds of it, but what I've seen looked pretty good. I mean, I don't really see Angelina Jolie being problematic in the role, but
I don't think she's problematic. It's just weird seeing Angelina Jolie in a Marvel movie as a lead.
Yeah,
usually what they do with these type of A-list actors is they have some weird cameo. Like Matt Damon. Matt Damon's hilarious cameo as Loki.
No, you're absolutely right. You're right. It's true. But yeah, I thought I loved the look of it. I'm excited for Kit Harington as the Black Knight. I think watching him and I think he has exactly the right sort of presence for the Black Knight, because the Black Knight's a little bit formal, a little bit old school, and I think we've seen him in that sort of light. Kamal Nanjiani, I'm going to butcher that. Kamal Nanjiani, of course, is like chiseled out of stone now. He looks fantastic. He takes those sunglasses off and you're like, is this the same guy who used to host comedy shows in the back room of fucking Meltdown? Oh, let's pour one out for Meltdown right now.
Pour one out, man. I love Meltdown.
I saw, that's where I met him there one time.
Huh?
I met Kamal Nanjiani at a Meltdown at a comedy show in the
it's like every celebrity went there, man. Every celebrity went there.
But yeah, he looks amazing.
Yeah,
he looks absolutely amazing. And then Brian Tyree Henry as Fastos. Like, we don't get a good look at him in this, and that's the one thing I was missing from this trailer, was I wanted a good look at it, because I love him in Atlanta. And
he's fantastic.
He's great in everything. He's the clerk at the insane asylum that the Joker's mom was held in Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. And I was like, oh shit, it's Paperboy working at the hospital.
And of course, he was in stupid Godzilla versus King Kong.
I haven't seen it yet, and from what you've told me, that's all right.
Yeah, but I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Apparently, Kamal's playing, although they're all like ages old and stuff, he's like a Bollywood star.
Yeah. That character does that. I think they're gonna explain where they've been, because obviously if they're the defenders of this reality, then where have they been when Thanos wipes out half of it? And I think there's going to be something about Thanos, the child character who plays Sprite, and I can't think of what the actor's name is right off the top of my head, but he's as old as the rest of them, but chooses to present as a kid. He has the ability to erase memories. So I think we might get a storyline where everyone's had their mind wiped so they could, quote, live as human. Something similar like, I remember Secret Wars had the Beyonder do that at one point, have his mind wiped so he could experience. Oh my God, you know what? That's the famous comic where Spider-Man teaches Beyonder how to poop. This is a real thing. Look this shit up. In Secret Wars 2, the Beyonder comes to Earth and has his mind wiped so he can live as a human. And the first person he runs into is Spider-Man. And Spider-Man is there the very first time the Beyonder ever has to poop, and like shows him a bathroom and explains the process very euphemistically, but it's fucking hilarious and one of the weirdest things ever in comics. Yeah. But I think that's what we'll see here, is something like that, where they've lost their memories and then they get, maybe the snap brings them back. I don't know, but I'm psyched for it. That's going to be November 5th, 2021, right?
Well, the thing is Thanos is an Eternal too. He's like a deviant. So like I'm sure that's exactly what happened. Like Thanos triggered these people coming back or whatever. Like they're not done by far with like this like whole snap thing, and the 5 years blip, and all of that stuff has so many repercussions to all the storylines. So,
yeah, I mean, I think we'll see. I mean, they've mentioned that there's a possibility we could see a young Thanos. And then also one of the settings in the background looked sort of like old timey. So similar to where we're going to get Shang-Chi showing us battles in the past. I wouldn't be surprised if the way the Eternals just avoid screwing around with the whole current universe is that we see all of them in like, the Bronze Age or something.
I mean, they're kind of their thing. That's the kind of the thing about this thing. They're telling a storyline that spans thousands of years. And so it's like supposed to be, I like when the word comes from like the higher ups who see this stuff and like hearing that they're blown away.
Yeah.
Because it gives their movies a lot of great hype. And I hope this movie kills it, because like it's so outside of what Marvel has done usually. Like Marvel doesn't usually, besides Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's how I see this movie, is in that same vein.
But it's not like Star-Lord, that actor was like an A-list actor.
No, he was the fat guy from Parks and Rec.
Yeah, they let him lose a lot of weight and gave him a chance in the movie. So like that movie had like just like a brazen weirdness to it that needed to come with something that's going to be Marvel in space. Like this is just like, this kind of is approaching the way things were handled like in the 90s or something.
Yeah.
It's been the 90s, epic. They would get like a huge, crazy cast for something like this, especially if you're not like, because they haven't laid any seeds for the Eternals, except for those large entities. What were those gods called?
The Celestials.
Yeah, the Celestials. That's the only thing that we have, but that hasn't been talked about in like 7 years. So I'm really so curious. I can't wait till we get a really full trailer, for that thing.
Well, Angelina Jolie was quoted as saying that she saw the full trailer and she loves it, which of course she's going to say, but it does mean that it is completed and ready to be released at any time. So I'm looking forward to that.
We also need to talk about Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever. Now, I don't know too much about where that's going to go. I mean, we all, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. So clearly we don't have the Black Panther king of Wakanda, T'Challa, but we've got plenty of other characters who can take up the mantle. What do you think they're going to do? Well,
from what I've heard, Coogler he's trying to play it smart, and like since they've built this fantastic vision of Wakanda and all these characters and political intrigue, and he wants to make it more about like an ensemble piece about everybody in Wakanda. That being said, it's like I don't know how you're going to explain like the rhino in the room.
Where's T'Challa?
Like, T'Challa. I mean, there's so many ways of explaining it away but all of it's gonna fall like hollow. Like the Marvel made a huge mistake by not recasting T'Challa.
You feel that was a mistake? I mean, I agree.
Yes, I feel like it was a huge mistake. I mean, this is as a black man, I have a problem with stuff like this because I feel like we're condescended to and treated like we're children and pets a lot of times. It's just like, oh, this black figure for the black community died. We don't know how to move past this. Well, we want to make sure that they feel okay. So we are not going to recast this role. Shut up! Like, what are you talking about? Chadwick isn't T'Challa. He's an actor. T'Challa's story needs to continue.
It's like saying if Henry Cavill died unexpectedly, nobody could ever be Superman again.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, and then that's the narrative they keep pushing. No one played that part like Chadwick.
Well, no one played it before him.
Yeah, Chadwick was good. Are you saying there's no black actor out there that could play a dude in a Panther suit? What are we talking about right now?
Oh man.
And I think everybody was in his feelings. I mean, that's a hell of a story that this man who was so great and had such a insane career, like for such a short time, to die the way he did, and I think everybody was in their feelings like, yeah, like you at the time you couldn't even talk about movie business and stuff, and I'm sure everyone's feeling, oh well, we can't recast this, and it's just like, but as time has gone by, it's just like, yeah, of course you can recast this.
You have to. I mean, otherwise you strip one of the few great characters that community has away. Just like you said, it's the character, it's not the actor. And unfortunately, there are relatively few of them to go around to just be pulling some off the table.
Exactly. That's like the biggest thing. Chala is like a bigger than life character that has like had like the greatest like beginnings that you can for a character like this. And we need to see the Chala Namor fight.
Yeah.
We need to see that. Like, we need to see that. Like, that needs to happen. We needed to see, even though it was cliche as hell, I feel like you could make it work for the movies. We need to see Ororo Munro and Chala. Like, Ororo should have been introduced in the Black Panther series.
Oh yeah. Well, until they do mutants, they can't show.
I know they had all the plans for that.
Until they do mutants, how do you roll that character out?
Because they're rolling out like that's the plan. Like, don't you see what they're doing in all the movies? They incrementally rolling out so many different seeds for so many different things in the future. Young Avengers, the mutants.
Sure. But I think her presence in the Black Panther movie would have been a little jarring.
That's what they were planning. They were planning to unveil Storm. Like this is pre-Chadwick death. They were planning to unveil Storm in this.
Okay, that makes sense to me. That would be awesome.
Yeah, and I think they're planning on unveiling Rogue in the Marvels.
Of course, because of her interaction with Carol Danvers in the comic books, that basically gives her all of Captain Marvel's power minus the energy beam.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That makes sense.
That's probably going to be the inciting incident that makes Kamala want to become Miss Marvel.
We'll see.
We'll see, because it seems like the Kamala show comes out before the Marvels.
Yes, the Kamala show's coming out. It's slated for like 2021, although there has been much more than that given. And then the Marvels is November 11th, 2022.
So we'll see. That's my read on Wakanda Forever. Like, I mean, I love Coogler. Whatever he makes is going to be great. It sucks that he lost his lead man, but I think Marvel made a big mistake. You know, it's like they rarely make mistakes, but when they do, it's usually a really big mistake.
Well, it's because we're so emotionally invested in it. So yeah, if we're looking at the rundown, we're going to get Loki first on June 11th. Then we're going to get Black Widow on July 9th, which I'm excited for. I'm going to be fully vaccinated, so I'll probably go to the movie theaters and see that. Now, do you know, are they going to release that on Disney Plus like as an extra charge, or is that just going to be in the movies?
I think they're just going for theaters for that one.
Yeah, because I haven't seen anything about streaming on it, and so I guess I'll have to get out and see that. Theaters.
Yeah, because like they're figuring that, you know, people are getting more comfortable going to the movie theater again.
That's true.
And Marvel releasing a movie is something that's going to get people out.
Yeah, then we get Shang-Chi on September 3rd. And then sometime in the fall, we're going to get the Hawkeye series. And then in September as well, Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. That recently was announced as well. You're booing that movie too? I'm booing that movie too a little bit, but only because I hate Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy.
It was such a uninspired choice. Like I mean, that's the problem with Sony. They don't understand their characters. Just do a crazy thing. Put him in a straitjacket. It's like, no, man. Like this is so beyond a straitjacket. Cletus is completely off the chain insane.
Yes.
Like you really needed to get like a great actor to do this. But again, the foundation that they laid for Venom didn't allow for them to really think out stuff. It's like, how do you do a Venom movie without Spider-Man? Yeah. That's a whole thing. I refuse to see Venom to this day because of that.
You still haven't seen it?
No. That trailer was so garbage, man. Like and I'm going to take you and put you in my little gooseberry pie, and then I'm going to take you and rip you apart. And does that sound nice? It's like, shut up.
Yeah, it's ham-fisted. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little ham-fisted. If you hated Mortal Kombat, you will fucking hate Venom. So I'll give you that.
Well, yeah. I mean, like this is what Sony was doing. Sony has been like so desperate to hang on to the Spider-Man franchise, and the only way they can do it is if they make successful movies. And they haven't. That's why they had to rely on Marvel, and they found themselves in a very sweet spot to just leech off of Marvel's creativity and success.
But I feel like I feel like Venom is a required early step for a company like Sony to start making properties like this. I feel like Venom is their Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider this came out before Iron Man, but the same year, and it's not canonical, but I think it's the kind of movie you have to make to then make better movies. Like Venom's not arguably a good movie, but I feel like it's a necessary step in that progression.
The problem is, again, like these people trying to make these standalone movies, doesn't make sense to do that. Like when they have these movies where like the character is like the only like fantastical character in that world.
Yeah.
Like that's just weird to do that with Venom and then try to make him an anti-hero,
Yeah.
Whatever they did in that storyline. I heard there was a bunch of weird stuff in there.
There was a bunch of stuff going on.
And it's like, and to do that all without Spider-Man, that's the whole thing about even the name Venom. The jealousy, the toxicity that Eddie Brock has over his jealousy for Peter Parker. Like, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
To not have that. It's like, what is the character?
Right.
He just seemed like a weird, hungry guy.
And they're just going to get into conflict because Venom skipped over villain and went straight to anti-hero. And so
exactly, that's so dumb.
And so Venom is going to be an anti-hero and Spider-Man will be a hero, and they're going to come into conflict likely over killing the bad guys. Venom will kill the bad guys, Spider-Man will not kill the bad guys, and that should likely be their conflict.
I have so many issues with these studios that own these properties that they just have no love for the characters. They don't understand the characters. Like everything's like super vague and
well, that's
rushed
why I hated Woody Harrelson, because I felt like it was a big name pick that didn't fit the character at all. If you read the comics,
exactly,
Cletus, you know who my dream casting for Carnage would be?
Ooh.
Would be Jackie Earl Haley.
He'd be fine. I mean,
I would
pick Jim Carrey. I'd pick Jim Carrey.
Too far. Well, maybe now. Yeah, I'm thinking it's not Ace Ventura, but like Jim Carrey now. Yeah,
Jim Carrey, dude. Jim Carrey would be fucking awesome as like a serial killer, like a crazy, hilarious serial killer.
No, he's an absolute maniac, and I think either of those picks. But like, he's all they said that, what was his name, Fleischman, who casted him as Carnage, said that he did it because he liked the way he played the character in Natural Born Killers, and that he has a good serial killer vibe. But it's like, that's all the wrong kind of serial killer. Like, he's too big, he's too muscular. Part of Cletus Cassidy's problem is the little guy syndrome, is that he was thin and smaller, but just absolutely fuck all insane, and that's where his power came from, not from being physically imposing like somebody like Eddie Brock. I'm hoping for the best and planning for the worst, which of course leads us to Morbius, which is now similar to Venom 2, got its release date recently, and that's going to be January 21st, 22.
We're not talking about Morbius.
Well, I'm just saying, do you think that's going to suffer from New Mutant syndrome, where the constant pushbacks, and that this movie just doesn't stand a chance?
Ugh.
Enough said. In the immortal words of Stan Lee, huh? Enough said. Ugh. All right. Well, we talked about MODOK and we had animation. What If is going to hit this summer. Are you excited to see that?
Yeah,
I love the What If comics. I mean, they were so good.
Oh yeah, such great memories of those comic books and stuff. I mean, that's a perfect example of like telling a one-off story. Like that's a perfect example.
You make the one-off story its own show. That's true.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like just like Untold Tales, it's like when you're playing with your toys and you're like, and what if my Superman had sludge powers?
Right.
It's really just kind of playing around.
And joined up with my Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah, it's really just playing around with the IP.
Yeah.
So and I just think that's cool. I think they have so many great ideas. Thank goodness for Feige. Like DC should have made it their main point to find their Feige.
Yeah.
Well,
but that's been the big difference between Marvel and DC for as long as Marvel and DC have existed. I think the big difference was Stan Lee. Is that when you thought Marvel Comics, you're like, oh, Stan Lee, the Merry Marvel Marching Society. Like he was their owner, operator, and mascot. And then when you looked at DC, you didn't have that personification. It was just a corporation. It was Detective Comics. It was never, any of the people there, Bill Finger or Bob Kane or any of the creators at DC. It was just the company DC. And now we have that same exact thing playing out in their cinematic universes where you have this director in Kevin Feige and everyone knows, oh, Kevin Feige's running this shit. This is Kevin Feige's shit. And then with DC, you're kind of like, who's driving the boat over there? Yeah. So it's just, they'd make the same mistakes over and over again.
Oh yeah.
They're going to have all their what if stories, but they're just going to call them movies. What if Superman was black?
Exactly.
That's what they're going to call this movie. What if Superman was black? By J.J. Abrams.
Oh, Lord.
So we got the Marvels. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 in 2 years from now. May 5th.
Man, 2023.
2023, get it in 2 years. But we should get a holiday special between now and then, which apparently Mark Hamill and James Gunn have been going back and forth. Mark Hamill warning James Gunn to watch out for holiday specials.
Isn't that fantastic, man? Oh my God. I hope he makes it exactly like the old Star Wars one. We have a big man in suit puppet for Rocket. Oh my God. Like if they made it super low budget.
Oh, that would be so funny.
Dude, they have to, he has to do it that way. He has
the weird
to do it
soul numbers.
Super puppet, super effects like on a sound stage. Oh my God.
Please let that happen.
Please. Oh, I love James. Like he's the only one that is able to do movies at DC and Marvel because because Marvel's like, being, a little too prudish and like letting him go.
Yep, they screwed that up so badly.
Instead of just like defending him.
They knew who he was. They knew who he was. There was no question. He had already done the apology tour for working at Troma. Fucking Troma. You hired this guy from Troma.
Yeah.
What did you expect? But anyway, that's its own thing. So, that was a lot of Marvel.
Heck yeah, marvelous, baby.
Oh my God, we didn't even cover it all. There's Doctor Strange, Fantastic Four, Captain America 4. What happened with the Blade movie? Deadpool 3 is coming. Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Ironheart. Is Ironheart going to be in Armor Wars? What about Secret Invasion? Like, Hawkeye is coming. I mean, there's so much shit we didn't even talk about. We didn't even talk about none of it. And that's not even to say, like, you're getting Avengers 3, the X-Men are coming. And what about Namor? How many times are they going to tease him and not give us something from him? So
I love how hyped you are, man. That's why I love you.
There's so much. I'm waiting for all of it. I want it all.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
That's right. But the big topic of the day, because we're running out of time. God, that was 45 straight minutes of Marvel tidbits.
Oh yeah. That was a big load of news, man.
That was a whole load of news.
Yeah.
Damn. Wasn't even a half pallet. Shit, I gotta take a breath now. Before we get into Invincible, aka the worst weekend in Omni-Man's life. Because that's like the whole essence of this is that when you live thousands and thousands and thousands of years, shit that happens over a couple of decades, I mean, that's just a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And how much weight do you put on a bad weekend? You can get past a bad weekend pretty quick, you know?
Yeah. I got to tell you, man, I've seen so much stuff, you know, like as far as like,
I've seen some shit.
yeah, you know, as far as like you know, cinematic disaster and like and bloody messes and fights and stuff. But the conceptualization of some of these scenes in just this episode was just like really horrific, really horrific.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was almost like way too much. Like I couldn't even imagine this only kind of worked
as an animation, maybe?
as like an animation, because like imagine if it was like they shot it for real.
I
Like, if they
would watch that
live action.
That's not everybody. That would be horrendous. That would be a Japanese movie if they shot it for real. Nobody's doing that in America right now. It would be absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, like for Omni-Man holding up Mark, like as two invulnerable people, as this train comes at them. With all of these, the carnage of that scene.
And their attention to the physics of the sheer buildup of the number of bodies. Because as you go forward, they're gonna bulk up. They're gonna catch and build up. And just, it was incredible in its attention to realism. Thank God it was animated.
Yeah, man. All the needless, unwarranted stuff. Like him holding that woman's arm and...
Yeah. Well, again, the real superhero physics, where in a comic book, if a building is falling over, Superman flies over and pushes it back upright. And then in real life, you have an area the size of your hands. Even if you can apply infinite pressure, at best you punch through.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was a lot to watch.
And for them to be able to show that and to show the futility of trying to save them.
Yeah. It was like... And this show wasn't messing around because like they had that first black fighter pilot, you know, like in recent years, like they kind of are careful when they choose like to kind of kill like a generic black person. So like this show did not care, and like and that was pretty good, you know, because it wasn't
how
like
quickly he kills him.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, I'm speaking to this trope about like the first black man dying. I mean, that was like a huge thing in the 70s and 80s and early 90s. And they kind of stepped away from that trope, and to the point where, again, like this great coddling starts happening. Oh, we don't want them. Like, and it got to the point where they would even use it as a red herring. Like when LL Cool J famously didn't die in Deep Blue Sea. They kept playing it like he was gonna die because they knew that was the standard.
Samuel L. Jackson did though. That's so amazing. It's such now that's a so bad it's good movie.
Oh yeah.
That movie is horrendous, but Samuel L. Jackson is just amazing. LL Cool J is amazing. I love him. That's so good. But yeah, so you're right, because the world in Invincible is so diverse that the black pilot is not the first black character we meet as an quote unquote extra. So it feels natural.
Yeah, it feels natural. And that's what I'm saying. Like that's what made it feel like, I mean, I'm going to notice stuff like that. And it just was like a breath of fresh air to just be killed just like anybody else would be killed, versus being like the focus of a scene or whatever. You know, and it's a weird thing to talk about, but that is still important to me.
Fair enough.
You know,
the other pilot is a woman; she dies too.
Yeah, but they were really a little artistic about it, like versus like showing this man destroyer. Like she kind of dies off screen because they show her crawling. Remember, like again, I pay attention to stuff like this. It's like, are they going to actually like have him crush this chick too? Like, you know, so like they were a little more subtle about that one. Yeah.
It was so incredible though in its violence and how it sets that up the whole first half. And it's funny, I was editing the previous week's episode, and I think basically we all saw how it was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
That Omni-Man would absolutely pummel Mark, because again, he's only known Mark for at best 17 years in a 1,000 upon 1,000 of year life, where we get the flashback and see that he's killed any number of his own people, any number of which could have been his own family. So this is old hat for Omni-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And that the only way that Mark could possibly defeat him would be to get into his head, because he certainly can't beat him physically.
Yeah, he had to do the talk no jutsu, made famous by Naruto. Like the talk no jutsu. Like when fighting isn't enough, you have to talk to the villain and talk him into submitting.
Yeah. And Nolan has the flashback of, watching Mark hit the ball, and the whole baseball thing that's been running through the whole show with them playing baseball and memories of being baseball fans and stuff like that. And so that's, he finds something of value.
I saw something interesting about Rick, the writer of the series, that there's a bunch of different things he changed for the series, because when he originally wrote this stuff, he was like in his mid-20s, and he said he was like a terrible writer back then. So he just put in so many great things about like the psychology of like a character like that, like all of the stuff that like an abuser would do. It's like, see what you made me do. This is your your fault. Like all of that stuff is like, oh, I just see her as a pet, and like everything kind of just being a thing that serves him,
I really, he's the only thing that matters.
I really particularly love like the acting, the animation for the acting of Omni-Man throughout the whole series. Like just in the first episode, you see that something's up with that character, and you rarely see that amount of detail in an animated performance.
The body language detail, is
his
excellent.
eyes, the things that he was thinking about in between dialogue and stuff. Like what was revealed in his reactions, like there was like a lot of work. It
was a smart move, definitely.
It's not often that you see really great acting with animated characters. You definitely usually see it in Pixar movies, but not so much so in a lot of 2D stuff.
No,
like
not
the best
for television production.
Yeah, the best animated performance was from Cate Blanchett as the mom in How to Train Your Dragon 2. That crap was insane. Like the performance of that character. Like I don't know if you've seen that movie.
I never saw it.
I don't know if you've seen it.
I have not seen it.
Everybody out there that wants to see a masterclass in animation acting, that like Cate Blanchett's character in that movie is just fantastic, man.
I was just saying, they only make it more horrifying. I think it was a smart move to give him the bloodshot eyes.
Oh yeah.
Following the fight with the Immortal, because he just looks that much more insane.
Oh yeah.
But also distressed.
Oh yeah.
So both of those things come across when he's pounding him and screaming at him, and they do these exaggerated facial expressions. He just it sort of warps reality, but he looks insane, absolutely crazy. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally agree with you.
Oh yeah, yeah. But just to hear the mother's reaction to being called a pet, and then juxtaposing that with the flashback scene of her beautifully talking about what human life is to him, and like him slowly kind of melting into this great kind of like joy that he had for his young son. And then they take that shot and transition it to Mark's completely destroyed face.
Yeah.
So much great stuff in this.
Well, because he's
episode.
missing teeth as a kid, and then they cut to him
God.
missing teeth as an adult.
Yeah, man.
And that in both those memories, he's got the huge gap in the front because his teeth are gone.
Lord.
So good. That was so brilliant to do that. That
transition was
so
insane. Good. Oh boy, man.
And then, so they're not the only. So Omni-Man ultimately comes to see things Mark's way, or have a moment of pity, or whatever he does, and takes off. So, I mean, we get the scene later on with Alan Alien where we learn that Mark has not saved Earth, and that Omni-Man leaving changes presumably nothing. I'm sure Omni-Man will be back, but the only thing I don't know is, will he be back leading the Veltramites, or will he be back opposing them, or some other third option?
Well, I mean, I really can't remember the comic book at this point, but it doesn't make sense that he would go to the Viltrumites. Like, why? There's like that seems like it'd be a death sentence. So to me, it seems like he'd go somewhere else, because why would he be going to the Viltrumites? Like he could take care of Earth by himself, you know?
Yeah, know what I mean? Or maybe like go back to the Veltramites to plead a case for Earth, but that's not in his character, and that's certainly not something the Veltramites would want to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely went somewhere else. Yeah.
That's true, because like Alan Alien says, like, they do not abandon their posts. Like, this doesn't happen. This is going to trigger a much bigger deal.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of weight to that action. So he probably went somewhere else. He's probably then, if he's abandoned his post on Earth, so he's probably in hiding somewhere, maybe.
Man, I love Seth Rogen as Alan Alien.
He's so good.
A lot of these puns don't work as well as they did in the comic. That's something that I noted. There's like a lot of cool jokes that worked more for the comic than for animation, and so as such, they just kind of like didn't play up to them that well, or didn't even show them at all. You know, yeah, I always like that about Alan. I'm Alan, the alien.
And he makes the stupid mistake about Earth versus Erath, and then when he comes back to warn him, like, holy shit, you guys, you got to get the hell out of here. There's a Viltrumite on there. He's like, yeah, that's my dad. He's like, oh, sit down, let's talk about it.
Yeah, man.
So I think we're gonna see a lot more Alan Alien in the Coalition of Planets.
Oh yeah,
because they're actively opposing the Viltrumites, and although can anyone really actively oppose them? We've got other villains to worry about too. We've got the what are they? The Sequids on Mars. We still haven't wrapped that storyline up. We got the one astronaut that remained infected, and they never, you got the army of cyborgs that they show us at the end of the episode, which is freaking amazing. And then just they give us this great like rogues gallery rundown to let you know that there are additional problems above and beyond. Where is Omni-Man?
Yeah, it's really cool, man. That episode will stay in my memory for a long time, because it's just like, man, these fools are bold as hell, especially like
to show that much blood.
I mean, because like the other scene that was kind of messed up, like on the other Amazon show, the Boys, in season 1, spoilers. We should have said spoilers to begin with.
Yeah.
When Homelander like completely leaves that group of people on that plane, like that crap was nuts. So like that,
no witnesses, like holy shit.
Yeah, and to just to kind of be one upped by Invincible. that train scene.
And that's the great thing about Invincible, is this, like, you have this pure pragmatism, in the Veltrumites, which is just, look, you're going to live long enough to watch this planet burn up and turn to dust. Like, if you were jogging across a football field and killed a few hundred ants, would you even know? Like, you might not even know. And that's the differentiation, like, that we don't see that pathological disassociation that somebody like Superman could have. Like, how Superman can fall in love with Lois Lane, knowing full well that, like, that's going to be a weekend in your life. Thor loving Jane Foster, that's a weekend in your entire life. So how much can you really value those things? And so you see that just pure pragmatism from Nolan when he's explaining to his son, like, how can you care about something that will be gone in the blink of an eye? And it's because he doesn't have humanity. But you know what? We all as human beings behave that way every single day, where we don't value the lives of the things that we barely even notice because our lives eclipse them by such a degree.
Oh yeah.
It's scary because Nolan is many of us.
Yeah, I totally see that.
Oh, and can we also say, goddamn fuck that Amber is back?
Yeah. That was
had
whack.
to bring her back, god damn it.
That was whack.
We were so happy last week.
Yeah.
We were so happy, you and I. Like, oh, all right, that's the end of that Amber shit. Nope, we're back. But at least now she knows full well, so she can stop being angry when he saves her life, which made no sense.
Yeah, that was weird.
You were a coward, but I know you weren't a coward because I saw you save us, but I'm going to call you a coward anyway. It's almost as if we wrote this before we knew this.
Yeah, so then they did the scene where, they made it seem like she knew that Adam was the superhero, but then they didn't even recognize her, which is even weirder.
Yeah.
She doesn't even wear anything.
I butt up against that too. I caught that as well, where she was like, "You're Adam Eve." It's like, wait, you just proved how perceptive you are, and now the one that literally doesn't wear a mask you don't recognize.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. Look, ain't nothing perfect. Nobody bats 1,000. That shit was bullshit, though.
Yeah.
That was completely bullshit. And then, of course, the agency showing that they have a proprietary spectrum of light.
Yeah.
Where they can make things visible or invisible. I felt like, you just tell them, just hide stuff. That seemed a little overly sciencey, but it was good fun.
You can see that it's going to play into some sort of plot line in the future. It's great foreshadowing for something.
It's Chekhov's light spectrum.
Yeah, man.
That's
yeah,
where we get
definitely.
Chekhov's light spectrum. We absolutely would not have mentioned this if we didn't intend to use this later on.
Yeah.
And we see that the Immortal is on his way back again.
Of course.
Because he's the Immortal. He's the Vandal Savage of this universe, and he will not be killed by being torn in two.
Mm-hmm.
He can change his name to Immortal-ish. So yeah, I'm excited for season 2. I'm excited for it. We get the Mauler twins are arrested ultimately, finally.
Yeah, these characters are hilarious.
And we get a quintessential Danger Room sequence with the Guardians of the Globe, where they start becoming a team. So they get their arc wrapped up nice and tightly as well.
Mm-hmm.
All in all, wonderful. Everybody feels like they came full swing except Amber. Fuck Amber. And but otherwise, everybody else gets a really fulfilling, satisfying arc. I'm excited to see where it goes from here. Because I'm not really sure where you pick this up. There's a lot of threats, and which one of them are coming first. The aliens, we see that they're on their way back too, and we still got the rock guy, Titan, to be dealt with. So there's a lot of bad guy loose ends, but it's nice to see the good guy loose ends tied up pretty tightly.
Yeah. Nice, tight little. How many episodes was that? 7?
8 episodes.
8 episodes. Yeah, nice little 8 episode thing. All hour episodes. Like, then you never see that for an animated thing. It's always usually 22 minutes. So yeah, this man, like, it's so crazy. We're so spoiled by streaming.
Yeah, we are.
That we can get stuff like this. So cool. I think that's about it.
All right. Well, tell me, Arthur, where can people find you if they want to find you?
You can find me at arthurromeo.live. You can also see me on Instagram at dreamboat82. And you can also check out my YouTube channel, Draw Really Awesome Wow, where I do I do art tutorials and with some funny voiceover commentary by yours truly. What about you, Tommy boy?
You can find me on Facebook at Thomas Olton, Olton, or you can find me on Instagram at thomas.olton, where I occasionally post some stuff, but I'm not too much of a social media guy. But hey, if you want to find me, you can find me.
Mm-hmm. You should find this guy. This guy's golden.
Nah, you only say that because you're my best friend. All right, sir. Well, it's been a joy speaking to my best friend yet one more time, and let's do it all again next week, if you will.
Oh, yeah. Have a good one, guys.
Tell them that show again.
Tales to admonish.
And now the outro music.